Hi, my name is David, and I'm going to speak about Turkmenistan and the actual problem with journalism. Some basic data about Turkmenistan. This is their flag. They are an Islamic country. They are seated in Central Asia. They had borders with Afghanistan and Kazakhstan. Actually, they were part of the Soviet Union till its independence in 1991. Their political system is a political republic. It's a big country. Well, it's not that big, but it has a lot of territory, and they are not that rich. They are actually an undeveloped country. The first question we're going to ask and we're going to answer is why Turkmenistan is the lowest country in the World Press Freedom Index. This is pretty interesting because when you think about that, you will think of countries such as North Korea, Eritrea, Somalia, Libya, for example, but they're not. They're not. It is Turkmenistan, and this was caused because in 1991, with since its independence, they got their first president, Sapar Mirat Niyazov. This guy right here, he was crazy. He was a dictatorship. He was a dictator and he started a dictatorship in Turkmenistan that lasts till today. Um, he was that crazy that he wrote a book that became like the Bible. You can do anything inside of Turkmenistan without you having that book or without you reading it. For example, you want to get a driver license, you have to present an exam for it. With I mean, the exam was about the book that he wrote. He also spent a lot of money of the country in stupid things like, for example, a golden statue of himself. Well, the thing was that it is a pretty similar case to Venezuela with the case of Nicolas Maduro and Hugo Chavez because he was like Hugo Chavez and he was like Nicolas Maduro. He was part of his cabinet, and when he died, he became like their main option to become president. He made elections in 2007 and he did not let the opposition participate. So he became the president of Turkmenistan from 2007 to till this day. How does the media and the information operate in the country? They do not operate. They are set by the government. And when we say the government, we are speaking about Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow, the actual president. There are not independent media agencies inside of Turkmenistan. There are only private media agencies that are owned by the country, by the government of the country. The government set the agenda. So if a a news agency wants to talk about something that the government does not want to, they're going to be like forbidden and they're going to be like stopped. And mostly they are going to suffer, for example, violence or just the simple repression of not being heard. Um, the idea behind the control of the news that the people get is that they can manipulate the perspective that the people has inside the country, and also they're promoting a good image of Turkmenistan, even though that is far from truth. There are two examples that I showed here in my images of independent media agencies of Turkmenistan. They are both not located inside of the country because if they were, they would be in a lot of trouble. Chronicles of Turkmenistan and Turkmen News. For example, Turkmen News is seated in Netherlands. Which actions does the state does to keep the news under their control? It's pretty similar to the novel 1984 and to the actual case of North Korea because you can speak bad about the government and you can't do certain things against the government because you're going to get in jail or you're going to get killed or you're going to get tortured. For example, this name right here, August Alpar Muradova, was a very famous journalist that was killed in 2008 and 2018. And in that year, it was discovered that the ones that killed her was the government of Turkmenistan in order to shut her up. For example, I would like you to see this article right here. It says that the media agencies inside of Turkmenistan are forbidden to speak about coronavirus or COVID-19 because the government does not want them to. I mean, that shows how the government operates against these kind of things. The final question I want to ask with my intervention is what can be done to stop this? And it is an open question, and I would like you to consider it as my conclusion of this presentation. Um, in a personal way, I would consider that there is no viable option of solution right now, but the intromission or the help or supervision of another Western state or of organizations such as United Nations or European Union could help to show the world what Turkmenistan is all about. And it really would help consider it or to show the world that it's happening because it will cause some kind of pressure inside of the government to change these kind of ways, to start respecting more the human rights or even though to start giving more freedom to the press inside of the country. So that was my presentation. I hope you liked it. Here's the bio of my presentation.